Disabilities Issues and Updates on BCTV is supported by the Berks County Center for Independent Living, Abilities in Motion.
Hello, and welcome to Disabilities Issues and Updates. I am Teresa Faulkner, your host. I am the Consumer Community Outreach Coordinator at Abilities in Motion, which is located at 210 North Fifth Street in Reading, Pennsylvania. Remember our number, 610-376-0010. And if you'd like to speak directly to me or leave me a message, my direct extension is 108. Please feel free also to contact me at tfaulkner@abilitiesinmotion.org. We want to welcome you today on this very hot and steamy day. And so we want to say to our viewers, be safe out there, drink plenty of water, and when possible, stay inside and keep cool. We also want to thank our viewers and our sponsors and our participants that took part in our art show that was yesterday at the Inn in Reading. It was a very big success, so we want to say thank you to all of you. Lastly, we want to remind you, mark your calendar for October the 9th of 2019 for our grand gala. We want to see you there. If you're interested in buying tickets or you're interested in more information, just give us a call again at that number, 610-376-0010. Again, my extension is 108, but our operator would be more than happy to help you. We listened to you as you called in with your suggestions and things like that. And so today our show is going to be dealing with mental health. Our guest is going to be Alyssa Yoder, and she is a crisis counselor at Berks Counseling Center. Welcome, Alyssa.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to have you with us today on this hot summer day, but we're going to get through it.
Okay.
And also remember, thank God it's Friday. It is Friday, and we're going to be fine. Listen, before we get into our discussion, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Alyssa. I am a crisis clinician at Berks Counseling. I've been practicing for about 7 years. I have 3 dogs.
Oh my, 3 dogs.
I do.
Oh my, okay. You like them?
I do.
You love them, it sounds
I love
like.
dogs,
Wonderful.
love all animals.
Wonderful.
And I spend a lot of time with my family, traveling. So that's usually how I spend my day when I'm not working.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, thanks for coming and joining us and dealing with our topic today, mental health. Let's get started.
Sure.
All right. What does it mean to have a mental health disorder? We hear that a lot. We hear that in the community. We're seeing it a lot, especially in the actress world and those, they're coming out with this. So let's talk about it. What is the mental health disorder?
Okay, so mental health disorder is just that. It's a disorder that affects your mood, thinking, behaviors that range in degree of severity, so mild, moderate, severe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can it be all ages, male,
Affects
female?
all ages, all races, all, any socioeconomic status. Affects everybody.
Okay, all right
Yeah.
then. What are some of the warning signs or symptoms of mental health?
Okay, just really quickly, I wanted to quickly go over like some of the most common mental health
Very
conditions.
good, very good, very good.
So those would be like anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and also like addictive behaviors, which falls under like drug and alcohol use.
Okay, okay.
But I think it's first important to remember that, every single individual is going to experience mental health concerns throughout their life. That's expected. However, like once, these concerns, they can develop into a mental health disorder when these signs or symptoms are persistent and they're affecting or creating, frequent stress and affecting like an individual's ability to function.
I keep hearing that word stress. Stress plays a big part in mental
Yeah,
health?
absolutely.
So if you're dealing with a lot of stress, you should actually kind of seek counseling or seek help for that or see
Yeah,
your doctor.
absolutely.
Because that is a part of it.
Yeah, I think counseling is great for anybody, like
anyone?
regardless if you have a disorder or not. I think it's healthy even for myself to like have a counselor. You know what I mean? So,
Well, and I want to talk a little bit about that. One of the
Yeah.
things that I know that comes up, even in myself, when I would say, or I hear someone say, I'm seeking counseling, you kind of get this like, oh, what's wrong?
Right.
How do you handle that as a person when you actually are dealing with a lot of stress? And all of us in our life have a lot of
Right.
stressors. And so we have to seek counseling. Is it a bad thing or?
no, not at all. Like I think that there's a lot of, stigma attached to mental health because I believe, mental health is almost perceived as like a, weakness or
Yes.
something that like you're not able to cope with on your own.
Yes. So I don't know if you're able to even to help me with this, but if you're dealing with a person or talking to a person, it could be a family member because this is all
Right.
around us. It's not just out there; it's in our homes. We're
Right.
dealing with different things. So if someone would say to me, I'm having this problem, but I don't want to seek counseling because it's a weakness. I feel like it makes
Right.
me weak. I should be able to get better on my own. What would you suggest? How would you suggest I would talk to them, or some things I might say to them to encourage them to kind of seek
Right.
help?
Well, I think like, encouraging somebody to seek help is just by removing that stigma. Like talking openly about mental health is a big one. If you see like celebrities talking about it more, like it's more common now amongst like that type of world, like Selena Gomez, Britney Spears, like Jim Carrey, like everybody.
Yeah, I remember
kind of
Lady
talks-
Gaga
Yeah.
even talked about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Taraji
people.
P. Henson, she was another one
Yeah.
that actually talked about the stigma on mental health.
Right.
There was a comedian, I can't think of her name, but so it's out there. So
Right.
it is a stigma. And so what are some of the stigmas of mental health? What are they? What kind of things come with that stigma?
Yeah. So like I had mentioned before, like a lot of like societal views view, mental health as like a weakness. You know what I mean? So not able to cope with things on your own. People also, with that being said, they internalize that type of stigma themselves because they, experience guilt or shame trying to seek help. And a lot of people, don't disclose that they're seeking counseling because of that stigma attached to it. Like, oh, you can't do it on your own. Like, you're going to have to, like, request a professional's help to do that.
Some days it can actually become overwhelming, and depending on your situation, it could actually turn into a crisis situation.
Right.
One of the things that I was really impressed in knowing is that persons can actually come into your organization
Yeah, absolutely. Just walk in.
and seek help that day.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about or struggle with what should I do. Come in and seek help right there at Burke's
yeah.
Counseling.
So if you came in and you experienced some type of mental health crisis or just, a crisis in general, you would see myself or other clinician or other crisis clinician on staff.
And you would be able to walk us through or help us through that particular
Right.
crisis. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What are some ways to overcome fright mental health stigma?
Okay. I think, again, talking openly about it. Also using like appropriate language, using person-centered, language, meaning instead of saying, oh, this, I have schizophrenia or that person is, you could just say, okay, this person suffers from schizophrenia, like separating the person from the disability or the disorder or the condition.
Okay. So there is some a wording that we would use, and so we have to be very careful with
Right.
that because does that actually make persons feel a certain way if you use the wrong wording?
I would believe so, yeah. I know that I personally would. I'd rather be, feel like I have a disorder, not like a disease or an
Okay.
illness.
Okay.
Like just something, separating myself from that disorder or that illness or...
I know that as actors and actresses are coming out, it's actually causing the world to feel more comfortable to talk
Right.
about their issues and their concerns. So where or how can individuals seek out help for this type of treatment, mental health treatment?
Right. I mean, everybody, I would think, would have access to the internet, and you can just Google, trying to seek out counseling within the area. Just type in, mental health counseling. and a list pops up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What if we're dealing with a situation where we, or as a parent or a family member, may not know what the person is actually dealing with? How can we handle that? I know you're saying that we should be able to talk to them and share with them and kind of make them feel comfortable about opening up. But how would that conversation work if we would notice certain things? Is there somewhere we can maybe go to get more understanding about mental health other than I know a lot of information is on the internet.
Right.
But sometimes it can be overwhelming. Is there places that, or certain sites that persons can go to look at for mental health?
Yeah, like definitely like national, like the Mental Health Alliance, they have a website,
Okay.
which is super helpful for people, just recognizing like early signs or symptoms that might allow a family member or, a close friend to kind of, acknowledge some of these symptoms and recommend them like, hey, I think that it would be worth trying. And maybe not accusing them immediately like, I think you're depressed, but what do you think about seeking like professional, advice? Like just to get a second opinion, not even help, but just, talk with somebody about what's going on and see what they think.
What they actually feel
Yeah.
about. Okay, great,
Yeah, because it's
great
great to have support, from somebody like a third party rather than somebody, that might already be, involved in the situation or have
Okay.
like a certain perception of what's going on.
Okay, so kind of, if you can you kind of let's walk our viewers through a situation. I'll use myself. I'm dealing with a crisis situation, very overwhelmed, feeling very, very anxious.
Yeah.
I walk into your office. What would you do for me? First of all, I would be a mess when I
Right.
would come in. So talk to me. How, let's just say it. How are you going to help me? I'm feeling this
Right.
way and I'm having some anxiety. Talk to me. Help me as a counselor.
Right. No. So first, the most important thing is to get a baseline of like what's going on. Like get as much information as you can without going too deep into it to like further escalate the patient. But, talk to them, see what's going on, work through that. A lot of times, like the crisis clinician and myself, we review just, common coping strategies. And I mean, not every strategy works for everybody.
Okay.
but
When you
yeah.
say calming coping, what would that look like?
So some common coping strategies. It's just like deep breathing, like
okay.
grounding techniques, like mindfulness, just like things to kind of help de-escalate them. Because I guess it all just depends on like the severity of the crisis.
Okay.
So I mean, it could be something where it's, I can't help them.
Okay.
And that's where I would, ask or request SAM Crisis for support, just to kind of see like what they can help me with. If they do need other help and they are in imminent danger of themselves or others, like, then I would recommend going to the hospital just to see if, they could meet with a psychiatrist immediately
Okay.
and get the help that they need, because sometimes I can't help them immediately.
Right. And so,
So,
you
yeah.
would actually be able to refer them to others
yeah.
that would help. Okay. And should we feel bad about coming in?
No,
Not at all?
No.
What if I'm overly emotional or I'm crying, I'm just a mess? I still should come in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seek
Yeah.
help. See some help. Because I know sometimes when I get anxious, it does. Your breathing pattern changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You kind of like become really, really overwhelmed. So yes, we would just come in
Yep.
and you'd be able to help me through that particular
Right.
situation.
And I mean, you wouldn't have to say, I need to speak to a crisis clinician, just say, like, I need to talk to somebody. And our front desk is, they know exactly what to do. They're trained on that. So they would
Okay.
call myself or the other crisis clinician
Oh, wonderful.
to talk to us.
wonderful,
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And, if they are not at a point where they need to seek additional treatment outside of our agency, then, I would recommend, like, hey, like, why don't you do an intake? Because we do offer, like, same-day intakes.
Okay.
And then I could put a referral in for to meet with a psychiatrist, because, medication management and psychotherapy together, they do really produce like a successful outcome for patients.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That is good. So tell us where you're located, your address, phone numbers, just in case our viewers are watching and they want to stop by or they even want to call for more information.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the
Yeah,
address?
absolutely. So we're at 645 Penn Street, but we're on the second floor, so you'd have to take the elevator to the second floor. Our phone number is 610-373-4281.
Okay, and anybody there would be able to talk to you and give
Yep.
you direction on
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
to do. What to do. Good. I have to ask, you said in the beginning of our show, we talked about like, what about if there are young people in school? Would they be able to maybe talk to their guidance counselor and they would be able to get direction on who to go? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. We do get referrals from school.
Okay.
But we also do have clinicians that are contracted at some of the local schools.
Okay. Okay,
Right.
so they would just
we
need-
actually do offer services within a school
Okay.
as well.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. So we were really talking this morning about the whole mental health disorder, which includes depression, which includes anxiety. Is there any other that?
I mean, there's so many.
So many?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's mental health is like a mental health disorder is an umbrella for like a variety and like a spectrum of disorders.
So it is a lot.
There are a lot,
But we
yes. Mm-hmm.
did name a few. And so if some of our viewers are dealing with those things and need help, definitely you can call us at Abilities in Motion and we can refer you. Berks Counseling is not the only agency that assists with that. There are many other. So if you are dealing with a hard situation or you're having difficulty, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Again, our number is 610-376-0010. My direct extension is 108, and we'll do everything possible to get you the necessary help that you need. I want to say to you, it was a pleasure having you with us this afternoon or this morning or
I know, it's still
during
morning.
this hot day, but it was a pleasure having you with us, and we appreciate
Thank you for having me.
the information that you have given us, and we hope that our viewers and so forth don't feel overwhelmed or
And if you do, come see me.
Come talk
I'm
to-
totally okay with that.
Wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful. We appreciate that. As I had said earlier in our show, we appreciate our viewers emailing us and calling us and letting us know what it is they'd like to hear or the program they would be interested in or even being a part of the disabilities issues and updates. So please don't hesitate. If you have something you'd like to see us air or talk about, give us a call, give me a call, or you can email me at tfaulkner@abilitiesinmotion.org. We also want to remind our viewers today, there are a lot of activities that are going to be taking place in the area. Please remember, I understand that this is supposed to be the hottest weather we've had in a long, long time. So please be very safe out there. Remember, stay well hydrated. Can't get my words out today. Stay well hydrated, but we actually want you to be safe. We want you to enjoy the different things that are going on. But we want you to be safe out there. So, as I said, we want to thank you for being a part of the show today. And Alyssa, we want to thank you for being a part of our show. We look forward to being in touch with you more. All right?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Disabilities, Issues, and Updates on BCTV is supported by the Berks County Center for Independent Living.